I once believed Los Angeles was the ultimate dream, the city everyone talked about, golden sunsets behind tall palm trees, glamorous stars strutting down Rodeo Drive, neighborhoods sprawling endlessly with promises of opportunity. It looked perfect on postcards, movies, and Instagram feeds. But when I finally moved there in my early 20s, the picture-perfect dream quickly unraveled. What I found wasn't just a city of glitz, but a place bursting with contradictions, beauty and chaos, opportunity and exhaustion. LA was alive in every sense. It buzzed with energy, with culture, with ambition. But beneath that energy was a cost that weighed heavily. Rent consumed half of what I earned. Bills piled on like a storm I couldn't outrun. A single swipe of a credit card could mean sinking deeper into debt. I used to laugh with friends and say, in LA, you don't live, you survive. But the truth behind that joke was sharp and real. Each day felt like running a race I didn't sign up for. Gas prices stung, groceries stretched thin, and no matter how hard I worked, it never felt enough. And then came the wildfires, the sky turning into a canvas of burning orange, ash falling onto cars and sidewalks, the air thick with smoke that seeped through cracks of your apartment. Summer in LA wasn't just sunshine. It was a reminder that disaster could knock on your door at any moment. If it wasn't nature, it was people. Smash and grabs left everyone on edge. Parking your car downtown felt like rolling the dice, knowing a window might be shattered when you came back. Add to that the protests, the riots, the rising numbers of people living in tents under bridges and along sidewalks. LA carried both dreams and despair, side by side. And yet, there was still magic here. I couldn't ignore the beauty, the food, the diversity that made Los Angeles a world of its own. You could taste a dozen countries in one night. Tacos dripping with flavor at 2 a.m., steaming bowls of ramen in winter, vegan cafes that looked like art exhibits. Each neighborhood carried its own story. Little India with its vibrant fabrics and spices, Chinatown glowing with lanterns and dumpling houses, Little Tokyo alive with anime shops and sushi bars. But one community stood out to me most, the Filipinos. And that's what led me to one of the most remarkable places in the city, Historic Filipinotown. It doesn't jump out at you the way Chinatown or Little Tokyo does. No giant gates, no dazzling neon archways. Instead, it's quiet, humble, but alive with history and meaning. Stories of resilience, of community, of heritage that shaped not only Los Angeles, but the Filipino-American experience itself. My first real encounter with it was almost accidental. I was driving home, drained after a long shift, crawling through traffic on the 101. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a glow, a restaurant lit under simple string lights. The sign said, Jollibee. I had no idea what that was, but I pulled over anyway. Inside, I found chicken that rivaled any fast food chain I'd ever known, and a plate of spaghetti that was sweet, creamy, and unlike anything I'd tasted before. Around me, families shared meals, kids giggled, workers smiled genuinely. It felt different, warm, human. That single night introduced me to a culture I had never known, but instantly wanted to understand. Historic Filipinotown, or HiFi as locals lovingly call it, lies just west of downtown LA, touching Echo Park and Silver Lake. It's small, less than 3 square miles, but its history runs deep. Filipinos first came to Los Angeles in the early 1900s, working long hours in farms, canneries, and service industries. By the 1920s and 30s, they had formed tight-knit communities in Bunker Hill. But as the city grew and development forced them out, many resettled here, where their presence eventually became officially recognized in 2002 as Historic Filipinotown. Walking through HiFi now, you can feel that history breathing in the walls. Murals splash across buildings, telling stories of Filipino migration, labor struggles, and triumphs. The ringing of church bells on Sundays gathers families across generations. Bakeries open at dawn with the smell of warm pan de sal drifting into the air. The neighborhood feels alive with memory and with belonging. That recognition in 2002 wasn't just about land. It was about dignity. It was about acknowledging decades of struggle, the exclusion, the racism, the invisibility Filipinos endured, finally marked on the map of one of America's biggest cities. It honored the caregivers, nurses, teachers, and laborers who had built a bridge between two countries across generations. But what touched me most wasn't just the history. It was the spirit. The Filipino way of embracing joy, even when life is difficult. LA can be isolating. People walk fast, eyes down, drowning in their own stress. But in HiFi, I found warmth. Neighbors talking across fences. Elders laughing outside panaderias. Young people putting on festivals, proud to keep their heritage alive. That spirit began to soften me. As a young blonde woman struggling to keep pace with Los Angeles, I found comfort in a culture that welcomed me in like family. I didn't feel like an outsider. I felt included. I learned about bayanihan, the Filipino value of communal unity. I saw resilience in their history, strength in their togetherness, and pride in their traditions. They weren't just surviving in LA, they were thriving, keeping their roots alive in a place that often erases identity. Food became my way in. From adobo to lumpia, uba ice cream to halo halo. Every bite carried stories of heritage. It wasn't just flavor, it was connection. It was family dinners half a world away, recreated in the heart of LA. The festivals sealed it for me. The Festival of Philippine Arts and Culture turned the neighborhood into a living celebration. Dancers in vibrant costumes, music that carried joy and defiance, and a community refusing to be silenced. Watching it, I realized this wasn't just entertainment. This was survival. This was love. And somewhere along the way, I realized something. It wasn't enough for me to just admire from afar. I wanted to know the Philippines itself, not just through food or festivals, but through its land, its people, its heartbeat. LA had shown me struggle and survival. HiFi had shown me belonging, and together they lit a path I hadn't expected. When the chance came to work remotely, I made a decision that would change my life. I bought a one-way ticket to the Philippines. It wasn't about running away. It was about going towards something I needed. The kindness I felt in historic Filipinotown wasn't limited to Los Angeles. It was a reflection of the Philippines itself. When I landed in Manila, I was overwhelmed with the same warmth. Strangers helped me, people smiled genuinely, and laughter was everywhere, even stuck in jeepney traffic. Rent was cheaper, food was plentiful, beaches were breathtaking, but more than all that, the people made it home. I couldn't help but reflect on the irony. I had to move to Los Angeles to discover historic Filipinotown. And it was through HiFi that I finally found the Philippines. My journey had started in chaos, but brought me to peace. For Filipinos in Los Angeles, HiFi is about preserving identity. But for me, it became a bridge to a country that welcomed me openly. What I've learned is this: community is everything. In a world that isolates, Filipinos remind us that joy grows when it's shared, that food, laughter, and togetherness heal more than money or fame ever can. So I share this story not just as an American who got lost in Los Angeles, but as someone who found a second home in a culture not her own. Historic Filipinotown may be just a small dot on the map, but its heart reaches across oceans. And every morning in the Philippines, I wake up grateful that HiFi showed me the way. Maybe that's the true beauty of historic Filipinotown. It's not only for Filipinos, it's for anyone searching for belonging in a world that often feels cold or overwhelming. It proves that home doesn't always have to be where you started. Sometimes it's where community finds you.